Happy Sunday, everyone. So this morning I'm feeling okay. It's hard to know how you feel when you're kind of used to feeling a certain way and you're not used to feeling happy. So when you recognize the feeling of happiness, you have to try to recognize it and allow yourself to feel comfortable in that feeling. It's hard to feel good. Yeah, it is. It's very difficult for people to it's very difficult to feel good when your life is difficult, when you have this constant feeling of, like something is missing. It's like you feel disconnected. It's a feeling of you're just always feeling like something, like there's a part of you that's like, it's like a little baby that doesn't have their mom or something, I don't know. But it's not a good feeling, and you get used to that feeling, and then when you're feeling a little stronger, you don't recognize the feeling of being strong because you're used to always feeling weak. But anyway, today is it's a beautiful day, and I'm feeling really, I don't really know what the word is, but I guess I'm feeling a little stronger today. This video is about Kwame Brown. Everybody knows who he is. I'm not going to go into who he is. He is an ex-NBA player. He exposed the industry. Yeah, he exposed everything that has to do with celebrity. He goes on his vlog and he speaks his truth. He speaks his experience as a ball player, and people using him to make jokes, using his name, making cracks out of him, of his abilities. And for a very long time, people just thought it was okay to make fun of him and just thought it was okay to say whatever. And he never really said anything. He kept to himself. But I think in the last year of COVID, etc., he said enough is enough. And he's been on his channel and he's got over 408,000 subscribers. So he doesn't have 1 million yet, but he deserves way more than your average. But anyway, his channel is where he's basically talking about his life, his experience, who he is, and everything that's happened, to him before the NBA, after the NBA, and he wants to speak he wants to be honest. He doesn't want to continue having other people speak for him. So everyone should just try to go to his channel and hear what he's saying. So this morning, he's talking about NBA YoungBoy. Kwame is talking about black masculinity, black young people, and how they are targeted and they're a threat, and that's true, and they're targeted and they sold lies. They're a target. It's like, I don't even know how else to say it except that black young men are an endangered species, and that's the truth. It's not a lie. Not only black young men, but young men in America are an endangered species. We need to be honest about it. Okay, the first thing is black young men are an endangered species. Then we have to say young males are an endangered species. Young people are becoming endangered species, because what's happening is we have people that have power. We have people that have science. Power and science is changing humanity. So you have people that are actually they are taking it a step further, and they're becoming gods on earth. When you have people that can literally affect, we have people that have power. We have people that have science. Power and science is changing humanity. They are taking it a step further, and they're becoming gods on earth. When you have people that can literally affect your child's development, the way they think, everything, it's like parents are powerless because your children are now becoming, someone else is now taking over their brains and the way they think and everything. So the only thing we're doing is birthing these kids, but the government, the country, and I'm going to say the government, is literally, raising your children and telling them what to think. You as a parent have absolutely no power whatsoever. And that's what's happening right now with our children. It is true. I'm not making this up. It's the truth. A lot of parents are choosing to teach their children at home because they don't want them. They understand what's happening, but at the same time, we have social media, and social media is a monster. It's like Godzilla. Like, social media or the internet is Godzilla. Like, it is destroying families. It's just really, really strange what's happening right now. But anyway, going back to Kwame's video, it's mainly about what's happening to young black males. So let's hear what he's talking about here.
Got the hookup, my cousin, my brother. I can go do that, and I can go to the nicest restaurant, and I can buy a girl whatever for that night. And if she sat there and listened to me long enough, and I put my Bentley keys on the table, even though I don't own it. And so we so trained to be so transactional and listening to how much success a motherfucker got, and not what's in here, and not what's up here. You ain't connected to nothing. Any man can come and give you a bunch of bullshit and sell you a bunch of good.
Yeah, a little part there, he's talking about materialism and how we are more interested in the material wealth than in the person's morality or who they are, the things that how they feel about stuff. We're mostly interested in material things, and that is very true. We are creating a very materialistic culture in this country.
I can go from city to city, state to state, do that same thing, and Lord, y'all just don't understand it. You just don't understand it. This is a game. They want you women out the house sitting here listening wide-eyed, bushy.
Yes, young women have absolutely no self-worth. That's one thing that's happening. Like, women are treating their womb, which is vagina. I'm going to say the womb because that's the birth canal. So that's how I'm going to say it. Women treat their womb like it's a toilet. Okay? So, if you're treating your body and your womb like it's a toilet, there's nothing else to say. You're a toilet. No self-worth. That's one thing that's happening. Women are treating their womb, which is vagina. I'm going to say the womb because that's the birth canal. So that's how I'm going to say it. Women treat their womb like it's a toilet. Okay? If you're treating your body and your womb like it's a toilet, there's nothing else to say. You're a toilet. Your vagina is a toilet. People just go in there and they dump shit in it. It's like they use their bodies like it's like a garbage disposal. That's what women are being taught by, promiscuity is dangerous. It is dangerous. I'm sorry to say this, whoever doesn't want to hear it, but when you have a society that encourages promiscuity, that's the womb. You're telling women and men, you're telling your children that that your vagina is a tool, like a sex tool, and it's not. Your vagina is directly connected to your heart. It's your body, and you need to cherish yourself. You got to protect your body. You can't be using your vagina like it's a garbage disposal. I don't even understand that, but yes, women are being told that they can screw, and they're not learning that in high school. They're learning it in kindergarten. They're learning. We have a society that is promoting promiscuity, and that's not a lie.
Thinking that you know everything. They want you like that. They got us black males looking so fucking weak.
Yes.
Because sometimes our women help that. Oh no, he ain't a good man. Well, did he buy you something? Did he buy the kids something? He did all that, but he won't respect me.
Let's just say that we listen to people that look like us. That's number one. It's a natural thing. Think of animals. They're always, dogs like dogs, cats like cats. So black kids listen to what black kids are saying and doing. And it's very, very sad. Like when you go on social media and the image of young black boys is that of like looters, and the image of the young black girl is that of bonnets and like twerking. It's just very sad, but it's not a lie. It's the truth. Mind you, these social media platforms are owned by very wealthy foreigners. TikTok, I think, is owned by China, if I'm not mistaken. Then you have Facebook, is owned by white people. Then you have Google, owned by white people. Basically, the social media platform that's actually damaging and hurting black children, they're owned by white people. So it is what it is.
You might not like you no more. You might just want to just deal with the kids. But you gonna respect me, I'm the baby mama. No, honey, it's not about you. In the Bible, you're supposed to get a kid.
Yes, young girls are being told that they can have children without being married. There's no shame in it. You can have a child, you can have an abortion and post yourself going to the clinic. You can have a child and post the baby dressed like a little thug. And it happens. It's not a lie. I'm not making this up.
Who think less of themselves and more about the kid. That's who the kid's supposed to be with. Not some narcissistic person that gonna make everything about them, and if it don't be exactly their way, then you can bust the whole thing. You can't see the kid. I don't want to hear nothing. That's not love. That's not love at all.
Okay, so what Kwame is talking about is what happens when young people have, when you have like a teenage mom and a teen dad. Like the young girl wants the affection of the father, of the baby father, and the baby father is a young man. He's still not ready to settle down. So then the little baby becomes a tool that is used to hurt the parent. You have girls that use their babies as little golden eggs. It's true, I'm not lying. You have like there's like this thing where you have boys having children with multiple girls, and it's like, I don't understand. I really don't understand. But again, it's part of like, there's no shame, there's no morality, there's no right, there is no wrong. You can just do whatever, and then the children, the babies the infants are casualties of war. Right? That's a good one. The infants born to black young women in social media are casualties of war.
We got these celebrities and these quote-unquote woke black people talking all this talk, but ain't a goddamn thing changed yet.
What Kwame's talking about is the woke, which it's not true. They're not woke. They're not woke. You can think you're awake, but if you're still sleeping, it's what they call one of them dreams. Like, I don't know what the word is, but you know, like, I don't know if anyone's ever been asleep and then you think you're awake, but your body's still in the pillow and you're sleeping, but there's a part of your brain that thinks you're awake. That's what we have right now. We have these people who are they're sleeping, but they think in their mind, they think they're woke, but in reality, it's actually hurting. You're using the black experience and making money off of it, and then saying that you're woke, but you're hurting your own people. No, it's not okay for anyone to treat anyone like they're less than a human being. Everybody knows that. But then, the woke movement, I'm gonna give you guys an example. The lady from the Black Lives Matter, she took all that money from Black Lives Matter was used to buy property. She bought a whole bunch of, she's living like a multimillionaire. She's living in the lap of luxury, and she gets on TV and talks about how horrible white people are. But she's living in the lap of luxury. You're talking about racism, and instead of actually going out there using your money that people are giving to build schools, educate, or just like taking money and literally building programs that teach young women how to become doctors, or they take this money and they use it to buy cars, they use it to promote themselves, and they are like living like they're freaking eating good, buying expensive shit, going all over the world. It's all a lie. They don't care about the regular person. It's the truth. I mean, I'm not making this up.
Nothing changed yet. Now, I watched the little thing with LeBron James and Edith Cantor. And I necessarily don't even like Edith Cantor. I went off on him before, told him carry that back to his country. But a broken clock is right twice a day. And so I'm like, wait a minute now. Let me stop being caught up in him being Edith Cantor. Let me listen to what he just said about that situation and why he had on these goddamn shoes. So wait a minute. You mean to tell me all these athletes sit down, kneel down, do whatever the media say, and their white publicists say, because they so black and strong, they don't even got somebody from the Nation of Islam giving them their advice. They don't even got a black man or a black woman as their publicist. Their publicist is white, but it's black power. And kneel down, and we're proud.
Exactly. LeBron James is a huge example. He's been screwing these rich white girls. LeBron James he's thirsty for like Becky. He's thirsty for Becky. He'd be like screwing like these beautiful white girls, but yet he's the first one that will come out who will jump on a bandwagon of black power, and you're like thirsty for Becky. It's a contradiction. It's a huge contradiction. Like, you're thirsty for Becky, but you want me to think like you have all this black pride. I don't get it.
There's a Chinese tennis player missing, or a Chinese player missing. Ain't none of them talk about it. Enos Cannon was absolutely right, because the NBA cared about every situation, and they would have did the same thing for them. And we all know all too well that damn everything is in bed with China. Nike, the NBA, everything. So if you thought that these niggas was as strong as you thought they were, these just niggas that's yelling for hire. I'm gonna get a shirt made and say I'm not a nigga that yell for hire. Cause that's all these niggas doing. They yelling for hire. You ain't got a motherfucking thing to yell about when we can go state to state and look at the black community and look at the situation it is. We ain't changed a motherfucking thing yet.
It's true. That's the truth. Like, you really need to understand, if you want to change your community, you have to encourage your children to become, professionals, like doctors, lawyers, teachers, like people that make changes in a society, people that are needed, like doctors are needed, teachers are needed, lawyers are needed, psychologists, veterinarians, anything, a professional, someone who becomes writers, like educate yourselves and become like more than what they're saying that you are. That's the message that children need to hear. Children need to hear that education is the way out of poverty. But they're not giving that message. They're telling them, they're not trying to teach your kids how to become scientists. They're not trying to teach your kids how to go to the moon. They're not trying to teach your kids how to become, astronauts. Anyone can become an astronaut. Any child from anywhere can become a scientist. But they don't want that. They don't want your kids to know that. So he's absolutely right. And these black celebrities, their kids are in private schools. These black celebrities are telling your black children, the ones that are watching them, that it's okay to be promiscuous, it's okay to smoke weed, it's okay to want to be a superstar, it's okay to buy expensive shit. But their kids are going to private schools, getting what they call a privileged upbringing. Their own children are not deprived, but somehow yours are. You understand what I'm trying to say?
This shit all about money. We got certain black folks yelling for the bigger bag. How much you gonna give me? Charles, whoa, okay. Yeah, black people do this, do that. Black people, I like you. I'll cry for you. I can't wait to finish my master's. Cause boy, look at here. When I finish this thing I'm doing, I'm gonna stay the hell away from a lot of people.
What Kwame is doing is, like, I think it has to do with education, that he's putting his money and energy into creating some sort of organization that actually does help young black men and women. But I don't really know exactly what he's trying to do, but I know that he's trying to educate young black kids, and I think he's also trying to facilitate technology for a lot of young black kids and their parents. But I think he's doing it from a standpoint of education. So his goal is to educate young black men. But that's something that I don't really know a lot about, but that's what he's talking about.
Because I'm not conforming to society. I watch certain groups and they get a car them out, a piece of land, and they do their own thing. They don't bother nobody. And they don't want you coming fucking with them. And I see myself doing that. I'm not going to be a part of no groups. I don't want to smile all in your face. I don't want to pretend with you. I don't want to start a program to pretend. I didn't come to the internet saying, ooh, let's start a program. How many programs we got around the world that say they helping kids, but all they doing is making a shit ton of money, getting the government to give them grants?
Exactly. The intention never happens. It's like if I tell you, I'm going to build a school. I go around like with this message that I'm going to build a school for, to make doctors, young little doctors. And then all the parents, all the community, the government is the first one to give me money. And then you know what I do with that money? I put it in my pocket. And then I set up like a cardboard school. Choose and pick 3 or 4 or 5 little students. But in reality, the majority of the money that was given for the cost is going for me. I'm using that money for my own personal use because it's a lie. Kind of like how Phi Babe used the idea of a vacation what's called fxxxck, and she took all the money that was given to her and she used it for her own personal use, and then said she returned it, but in reality, she never returned the money. But the people don't really care because they probably thought it was just a little bit of money anyway, so they're like, oh, who cares? But if you think about it, $1, if you have 1,000 people giving you $1, that's $1,000.
When all you gotta do is tell these kids they can do it they motherfucking self. All these little kids can be an NBA young boy, but a little more polished. Some of them don't have to go through the pain and all the shit that they seen. But look at the beautiful music this young man made. Look at the beautiful music and look at the lives he touched. White, black, young, and old. You could not hide young man talent from anyone.
I think NBA is traumatized. I don't know anything about him, but I know he's got trauma. I know that he's probably, at this point, doesn't know who he is as a person. I think he's hurt. And he's not the only one. It's a lot of young men that are in the industry that are hurt and, you know, they're traumatized. They have what's called PTSD, and they use them for their talents, and then they lose their spirits, and eventually they continue, they're creating more like them. It's kind of creepy, like, but it's the truth.
That's why they scared of these kids. That's why they raise you up in the worst conditions, and you still seem to find a way out of it. But the problem is, to get out of those environments, you have to know a certain type of people. Some of those people don't want to see you elevate and grow. So it's all a game. You got black people yelling at the motherfucker who made it out. He a fuck nigga. He ain't real. Why is there so much value in not being a fuck nigga and being real? What does that even mean at this point?
Anyway, so I'm going to stop the video because it's kind of long, but you know, Kwame saying, what the fuck is going on? Like, wake up. Like, he said it. I'm not here to join a group or be any, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm not going to, I refuse to be part of, he doesn't want to be part of what the rest is doing, talking about what they're going to do and not doing anything. That's what's happening.